Welcome to the class 8 of the Python crash course. In the last class we studied indentation and if-else statements. I also solved some examples and gave you some problems to solve. In today's class we will be studying for loops. So what is for loop? Let's say we have a list of magicians' names and we want to print out each name in the list. We could only do this by retrieving each name from the list individually, but this approach could cause several problems. For one, it would be repetitive to do with a long list of names. Also, we would have to change our code each time the list length changed. A for loop avoids both of these issues by letting Python manage these issues internally. So what for loop does, it stops us from doing the repetitive tasks, and secondly, we don't have to change our code even if the list is changed. Let's make use of the for loop. So first of all, let's create a list. We have a list called magicians, right? Magicians equal to square brackets, and first of all we have Elise, secondly we have David, and third we have Carolina. So if I want to print these numbers, I'll have to print them one by one by accessing magicians. I'll first print Elise, then David, and Gordon. But with the help of for loops, I can do this only with 2 lines of code. So for using the for loop, first of all, you are going to type its name. We're going to type for. All right. So this is the first thing we're going to do when you use for loop. For, then you are going to need a variable. So you can name it anyone. My task is to print the name of these person, right? So I'm going to type here person, and then I'm going to use in. For any variable name, whatever you want to name it, I named it person in, and now I'll use that list, that is magicians. So for person in magicians, what this will do, it will pick one by one all of these names and store it here inside this person. You can name it wizard, person, or simply magician, or box. I think it's better, or maybe passport, ID, whatever you like, but I named it person. So for person in magicians, print person, right? And now you are going to print this. And here you can see Elise, David, Carolina. With 2 lines of code, we are able to print this list. So this is how you can make use of the for loop. Now let's me give you another example. So here you can see I'm using for variable name of choice for x in range, let's say 100. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to print simply x. Here should be 4. Remember that the for loop must end with this colon, right? Then you are going to write remaining lines of code of your program. All right, if I print this, here you can see it has printed us the integers from 0 to 99. If I want to include 100, I'll have to use 101 because it does not include the last number in the Python. So here you can see from 1 to 100, I can simply use 2 lines of code to print the numbers. All right, now let's move on to the next concept, that is break, pause, and continue in Python. So what we are going to do, first of all, let's create a for loop for letters in the word programming. All right, now I'm going to end my first line with this column. Now inside, what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you that if you want to run your program to a certain condition, so that if m appears in the programming, you just stop printing it. So for that, I'm going to type here if letters is equal to m, then simply break the program. If not, then print letters. The letters, or I should simply change it to letter, and same here. Now if I run my program, you will see it will print program, but it will not include the m. So if I run my program, here you can see I have a program, but we have stopped this program when the m letter came. So this is how you can make use of the break in Python program. There's another function that I would like to talk about, that is continue. So if I use continue here instead of break, What continue does, it will skip the both M's, but will print the remaining letters of this word. So if I run this, here you can see we have programming printed here, but there are no M's here. Both of the M's are skipped by this function. Now here is another thing. So suppose that we have nothing inside the body of our for loop, but we still want to run our code. In order to do that, what we will do, we'll simply type here pass. Pass will run our program, but as you know, there are errors here because of my for loops body, but still here you can see there are no errors. I run it, it's running, but there are no errors. As I just remove pass from here, and here you can see the red, it means that we have error here, something is missing. And it is giving us indentation error expected on the indentation block for the for statement. So it is giving us the indentation error. Even if I remove whole part of this and then run it, it's giving us the error again. So, but as I use my pass, here you can see my program is running. So this is how you can make use of the pass, break, and continue functions in Python. All right, let's talk about some methods in Python. All right, for teaching you about the methods, I'm going to first create a dictionary, then I'll talk about sorting, only key values, value extraction, wrapping set around list values, and so on. So let's create a dictionary first of all. So I have magicians list. So let's create a dictionary first of all. Magicians equal to Elise. This is our key. Now we're going to give it a value. Let's give it an ice cream flavor which she likes. So Elise likes mango flavor. And the next person we have David. David likes chocolate. And next one is Carolina likes vanilla. All right. So when you see I'm going outside the window, visual window, I just pressed enter after this comma, and now I am being able to move it to the next line. And the next last person we're going to add Chris. Chris also likes mango. So we have two same values for the Chris and Elise. Now, first of all, I'm going to make use of the keys. This method will print the value the keys of this dictionary. So we have key Elise, David, Carolina, and Chris. In order to do that, I'm going to use for names in magicians, or I can use the previous one that I've already used, that is persons in magicians dot key. Don't forget to add this column, and then I'm going to print persons dot title, and there you go. Now if I run my program, you will see these lines of code will print only the keys from our dictionaries. I made an error. It should be keys here, not key. If I run it, here you can see we have Elise, David, Carolina, and Chris. So this is how you can make use of the keys method with the for loop to get only the keys from your dictionary. Now let's move on to the next concept, that is getting the values. So in order to get the values, all you have to do is change values here. Now this line of code will give us only the values, that is mango, chocolate, vanilla, and again mango. Here you can see mango, chocolate, vanilla, and mango again. But one of the things, if you notice here, is that here the first letter is not capitalized, but while I'm printing, so it is capitalized. Just comment me or search online why is it so. All right, let's move on to the next thing, that is sorting. So I'm using again the same line of code, but now I'm going to sort the values. You'll see what it does. I simply used sorted around this keys method on my magician's dictionary. Here what it did, it sorted the value according to alphabetical order. So first of all, we have A, then if we had B value, it was going to print P, but we don't have, so it printed C first, then another C name here, and then D, A, B, C, D. So it gave us alphabets in the ascending order. So this is how you can sort the keys of the dictionary. But what if I use here values? Same is the case with the values. I'm getting the values printed in the alphabetical order. We have C first, then mango, which is the M, again M, and then vanilla. Now, as you can see, we have multiple values occurring. But what if we don't want the multiple values? So in order to fix that, what we can do, we can make use of the set function. So if I comment this and bring it below and use here set, what it will do, it will remove these repetitive values. So if I print, and you can see mango is occurring only once, and you also see that we have lost the order that we previously had. So by using set, we don't get repetitive values. So this is how you can use for loops, its methods with different data structures like dictionaries and lists. And now let's move on to the problems that we have so that we can better understand the for loops. First problem says is that make a dictionary containing 3 major rivers and the country each river runs through. One key value pair might be Nile, Egypt. So I have looked up on the internet 2 other rivers, that is Amazon River in Brazil and Yangtze River in China. And then it says use a loop to print a sentence about each river, such as the Nile runs through Egypt. So let's create a dictionary first of all. So we have rivers equal to curly brackets, and we have Nile in Egypt, and then Amazon River in Brazil, then Yangtze River in China. And now I need to print the name. Use a loop to print a sentence about each river, such as the Nile runs through Egypt. For this, I'll be using the f string. How? First of all, I need the names of the both countries and the rivers. So in order to get that, I'm going to use the for loop. So for river and country. So here you see I have created 2 variables for getting the key and the value. So now here is another new thing that you learn, that is you can use 2 variables to get the respective values or keys from a dictionary. So for river, country, in rivers dot item. Here you see I have used the item method. This method allows us to access the key and the value from this dictionary. Now we are going to print the message that this river flows through this country. So for that, I'm going to use the f string. So for using f string, first of all, I'm going to type f, then like a normal string, just like normal strings, we're going to use the inverted commas. And inside that, I'm going to type my string that now we need to print the name of each river. For that, we are going to use this variable right here, so that each time the for loop runs, the name of each river is printed. So as I told you, the for loop gets values one by one and stores it into these variables. So for that, I'm going to use the curly brackets again to get the values in my f string, river.title. This will allow me to access the value inside this variable that the for loop used to get from the dictionary. And now I'm going to add more to the string, that is runs through, again country dot title, and that's it. And if you see here again, the country dot title used this variable to get the value that for loop pulled from this dictionary. So we will have the Nile River runs through this country. So I can also add something, the Nile River. Alright, so if I print this value, alright, I think I made a mistake. Alright, so here should be items instead of item. Now if I run my program, here it says the Nile River runs through Egypt. The Amazon River runs through Brazil. The Yangtze River runs through China. So we have solved the first part of our problem, that says to create dictionary and write a for loop that prints the message the Nile River runs through Egypt and remaining rivers through their countries respectively. Now let's move on to the next part of the problem, that says use a loop to print the name of each river included in the dictionary. So we can use this by using the method called .keys that will give us the access to the keys that are the rivers names. So let me comment this out, and now I'm going to type for river in river.keys. Don't forget to add the colon that I also added in the previous program. So for river in river.keys, rivers.keys. This variable is storing the values from this dictionary
using the for loop. And now I'm simply going to print the river. And if I use this method called dot capitalize, it will keep the first letter capital. Now if I run my program, here you can see Nile, Amazon, Yanks. But what if I remove the capitalize? Here you can see the first letters are not capitalized. So I'll keep it as it is. And here you can see the first letter is capitalized. Now let's see what the next part of the program is. It says use a loop to print the name of each country included in the dictionary. So it's simple. We are just going to replace the keys with the values. So let me copy this, comment this out, and here you can see I'm simply going to change here values. And now instead of river, I'm going to type here country in rivers. And same. Similarly here, now if I run it, here you can see Egypt, Brazil, and China. So I used two different methods, values and keys, to print rivers in one part of the program, and in the next part of the program I used values to print the name of the countries. And in the first part I used the for loop to print the message that the certain river runs through certain country. So this is how you can make use of the for loop, methods, and dictionaries.
Alright, so now let's move on to the next problem. What the next problem says, use the code in favorite language.py. So inside the book, this code has been used. What it does is that we have a dictionary and it prints that the name and the favorite programming language of that person using this code. We have a loop that stores the name and language in the variables name and language by extracting the names and languages from favorite languages dictionary, and then simply prints them one by one. But the question is, make a list of people who should take the favorite languages poll. Include some names that are already in the dictionary and some that are not. So we're going to create a new poll list that will have some extra names, and we will also remove some from the previous one. So this is first part. We'll have to create a new poll list, and then it says loop through the list of people who should take the poll. If they have already taken the poll, print a message thanking them for responding. If they have not yet taken the poll, print a message inviting them to take the poll. First of all, let's write that dictionary. What that dictionary was is favorite underscore languages is equal to dictionary gen, and here we have Python. So Jen likes Python, right? This is our first key value pair, and the next one is Sarah. She likes C language, and the next pair is Alex. He likes Ruby. And the next one is obviously Hamad. I like Python. There we have a dictionary of favorite languages. So Jen likes Python, Sarah likes C, Alex likes Ruby, and Hamad likes Python. Now we are going to create a poll list. As the problem mentions, make a list of people who should take the favorite languages poll. Include the names that are already in the dictionary and some are not. So for that, let's create a poll underscore list equal to Jen, Sarah. There should be this comma here instead of colon. Jen, Sarah, Edward, and then Phil, then Alex, and then come on. So we have a new list, and I have added the names like Edward and Phil here. So now let's create our for loop. That is the next part of the question that says loop through the list of the people who should take the poll. So in order to do that, I will use the for loop for, and then I'm going to create a variable that is going to be person in poll underscore list. So we are storing these strings names in person one by one. So it will take Jen and store in the person, then it will take Sarah, Edward, Phil, and so on. And what we are going to do, we are going to set a condition. So we are going to set a condition that if person in favorite languages, what this means that if this person that are actually these names matches the favorite language person that are these names, then you are going to print this statement. What is that print statement? That is, we are going to use f-string. The method to use f-string is you will type f first, then you are going to place inverted commas, and now we have created an f-string. Now we are just simply going to fill this. That thank you, then I'll use this person here. Thank you, person dot title for taking the poll. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up else condition that if the person which is from this list is not in the favorite languages, then you are going to use this. That is our else condition. That is print f person dot title. Here I'm going to use the curly brackets. That is going to print the name that we have given in the list. And the poll question is, what's your favorite programming language? Alright. So our if conditions will execute when this person that is actually this list matches this one. If it matches, then this line will be printed. If there is no match, then this line will be printed. That is our question, that what's your favorite programming language, which is the poll question. So now if I run my program, oops, we had a mistake. Alright, so our issue is that we cannot break our f string. We have to write it in the straight line. So we make mistakes, we fix them, and this is how we learn. So if I run my program here, you can see it says, thank you, Jen, for taking the poll. Thank you, Sarah, for taking the poll. Edward, what's your favorite programming language? Phil, what's your programming language? Alright, so we have solved this problem, that is creating a new poll and then looping through and telling taking them, then printing a message to invite them for taking the poll. And we also print the message for the people, thanking them for taking the poll. So now let's move on to the next problem. That is our program 3. So what is program 3 is about? So program 3 says, make several dictionaries where the name of each dictionary is the name of a pet. In each dictionary, include the kind of animal and the owner's name. Store these dictionaries in a list called pets. Next, loop through your list, and as you do, print everything you know about the pet. So what this is about is that first of all, we have to create the dictionaries for different animals. So let's say we have a cat, a parrot, a goat, a rabbit. So we will create these dictionaries for the people first. Then we are going to store them inside a list. So 4 dictionaries created separately and stored in a list. And then we are going to simply loop through them. So let's get started. First of all, let's create our first dictionary, that is about Ruby. So Ruby equal to curly brackets, animal she has is cat, and obviously the owner is Ruby. Owner name is, now simply I'll just copy this and replace Ruby with other people and the animal with. So instead of Ruby, I'll change this to Connor, and again next one to Adam, and then last to Anna. So Ruby has a cat, Connor has a goat, Adam has a parrot, and Anna has a rabbit. And obviously the owner of the goat is Connor, owner of the parrot is Adam, and owner of the rabbit is Anna. So we have 4 different dictionaries. Now we will simply store them in our list. So that is pets underscore list, and inside simply we'll use square brackets and paste here Ruby, Connor, Adam, Anna. All right, and now we have solved the first 2 things, that we need to create 4 dictionaries. Then we stored these 4 dictionaries inside our list of parrots. I named it simply pets list. And the next thing we are going to do is create a loop. So for this, we're going to type for animal in pets. And remember the rules for the for loop. We are going to type for loop function, that is for first. Then you are going to create a variable. You can name it anything. I named it animal. You can name it pet, a friend, or whatever you like. I named it animal, for animal in pets. And then you are going to simply print. I'll be using f string here. F, the method use f string is simply typing f, then inverted commas, and inside you are going to type here is what I know about, and then we are going to use pet inside owner pet. All right, here should be pets underscore list. All right, so here what we are going to do, we are going to use here animal. So all the members of the pets list is now stored in the animal. So we now have, here is what I know about the owner's name and their pet. So we have Ruby's pet or Connor's pet. And the next thing we are going to do, we're going to create the nested loop. What this will do, this will print what we know about the animal. So we will say Ruby's pet is cat or Connor's pet is a goat. We can do this by using the nested for loop. So this is how we write the nested for loop. We use for, then we create a variable first for key. Obviously this will have the names, or and this the second one is will be their value in pet.item. In here print f key dot title, and here And I'll simply use the f string to print the value. So f inverted comma, then inside I'll use curly brackets key dot title, and here we have the next thing. By using the colon, I'll type the values, value dot title, simply here the inverted comma. So now if you see, so this one will print the message that here is what I know about the person's pet, I mean like Ruby's pet, and then inside it will enter the nested loop. But this will one by one print the name and the person's name and the pet. So if I run my program, oops, we made an error again. It should be items here instead of item. Now if I run my program, so before that I need to change this into animal.item. So now if I run my program, here you will see it is printing the message that here is what I know about the Ruby's pets. Animal cat, owner Ruby, Nets Springs. Here is what I know about Connor's pet. Animal goat, owner Connor. And similarly for Adam and Anna. So this is how we can make use of for loop and make a nested loop. And the first thing we did in the program is that we created 4 dictionaries. Then we stored those 4 dictionaries in our list. And then we accessed those lists and printed the message that here is where you know about that animal. The next thing is I created the nested loop, and it printed the messages and it printed the keys and values. So this is how it worked. First this line executed, then this line executed, then it moved back to this one. Second time this line was executed, and second time the values were executed. So this is what happened. First time is executed, it printed this message. Then it did not run, this line did not run again until this line was run. And when this line was run, this message was printed. Animal cat owner Ruby. Then it went back to this loop, this part of the loop again. This message was printed again, and it gave us this message. Here is what I know about Connor's pet. And it did not run again until the nested loop was executed again. Second time. So when the second time was executed, we got the Connor's animal and its cat. This again, then moved to third time here. And then third time this was executed, it moved again back. Fourth time this was executed, and then this was again executed fourth time. So this was it executed in a circle until or unless the conditions are met. This is how you can make use of the for loop. Now let's solve the next problem, that is our problem 4. And let's see what it says. So in problem 4, make a dictionary called favorite places. Think of the 3 names to use as the keys in the dictionary and store one of the 3 favorite places for each person. So at the key, we have our friend's name, and then in the value, we will have 3 places which my friends like. To make this exercise a bit more interesting, ask some friends to name a few of their favorite places. Loop through the dictionary and print each person's name and their favorite places. So in a similar way, we are going to create multiple dictionaries, and then we will use nested loop to first print our friend's name and then their favorite places. So first of all, let's create the dictionaries. So in order to do that, we can do that in 2 ways. First thing is like this. So I will say friend1, friend underscore 1 is equal to, now I can create a dictionary and store their favorite places. So I have place 1 as Paris. Then I have place 2 as Rome. Place 3, and then we have Barcelona. So this are the location which my first friend likes, okay? And I'm going to name it later on as player friend 1. And if I type my friend 1 name, all right, so I can similarly store other friends, right? So if I have my second friend, friend underscore 2 is equal to dictionary 1, and let's say his place 1 which he likes is New York, and the second place which he likes is Los Angeles, and the third place which he likes is Chicago, right? So in this way we have locations for our second friend. And now let's do this for our third friend. So place 1, he let's say he likes Tokyo first, and then secondly he likes Sydney in Australia, and the third thing he likes is London. So we have 3 different friends with their favorite location. And now I'm going to create another dictionary, that is favorite underscore places is equal to, so our first friend name is Claire, right? And now I'm going to simply add its place, that is friend1, and we have placed all of these values of the dictionary inside here. The second way was to copy all of this dictionary and place it. Let me show you what I'm talking about. So if I say corner, and then for it I use these values, right? I don't use the friend, I simply copy it here and then paste it. And now we have our second friend. But for the third one, that is our, let's say our third friend is Lily, right? And for it we are going to use friend2, friend3, which is this one, and there should be a comma and underscore 3. So we have our Claire, and friend1 has all the places which Claire likes. Then for corner, I showed you the second way by which we can do this. You can repeat this for Lily and Claire as well. And for the third one, I used the first method that I told you, that I simply stored all my values in a dictionary and then called it here. And now I have multiple dictionaries here and another dictionary here. And now we will create nested for loop. The first part of the loop will call the name, will print the line that my friend Claire likes, and then the second part of the nested loop will print the location. So I'll start with 4, then I'm going to create a variable name, then another variable places, and I'll use this dictionary right here to extract the values. Favorite places dot items, and then here I'll print the first statement using my f string. So the method to use f string is you type print, inside the braces you will type f, and then the inverted commas, and now we have initialized our f string, and inside I will use my friend, and now you call the name of my friend, name dot title, my friend likes this. And this is the first part of our nested loop. In the next line we will print the places. For this one I'll simply type for place underscore key, place underscore value, in places dot items. Now I have created 2 more variables, place key, place value, in place dot items. So what this part of the loop is doing, it is extracting values from place. So what does place contain? Place contains the values that are present in this dictionary. So what are those values? Those values are friend1, this dictionary, and the friend3 dictionary. What does dictionary have? These dictionary contain the location which my friends like. So second part of the loop is just to print the locations which my friends like. So now I'll type print. I'll use the f string, the method I told you earlier. You will use inverted commas and the f, and then I'll use the curly braces, place underscore key dot title, use colon, and again places underscore value dot title, and there you go. This should be place underscore value. So this part prints my friend's name, and this part prints their favorite location. Now if I run my program, here you can see it is printing my friend Claire likes. That is this part of the loop. And the next part it says place Paris, place 2 Rome, place 3 Barcelona. That is this part of the loop. So now this prints that you are saying is one time running of this. Now when it runs the second time, it prints these values. That is my friend Connor likes place 1 New York, place 2 Los Angeles, place 3 Chicago, and similarly for the third time. So this is how you can make use of dictionaries and nested loops to solve real world problems. Now let's move on to the last program, that is our program 5. So the first part of the question is says use the name of 3 cities as keys in your dictionary. So we will have 3 cities just like we have used in here. We use Claire, Connor, and Lily. Instead of these, we will have 3 cities names. And then it says create a dictionary of information about each city and include the country that the city is in, its approximate population, and 1 fact about the city. So, and the next thing that we are going to have in the dictionary is country, population, and a fact about that city. So we will have a city and its values, another city and its values, and third city and its value. And then simply at the end, we will use for loop to print the values. So first of all, we are going to create dictionaries for each city. For this one, I'll start with cities and then create a dictionary. This will have the multiple dictionaries that we are going to create. And before starting this, remember that I told you there are multiple ways. You can store a dictionary separately and then call it, or you can directly paste it. So in this one, I'm going with the direct approach. So I have this dictionary Paris city, and then I'm going to create another dictionary inside, that is country is France, and the next thing is population is around 2 million. So 2160 and then 3 more zeros. I looked it up on the internet. You can also find what you like. Next thing is the fact about this country is that the Eiffel Tower is located in Paris. All right. The next thing is second one, we have Jakarta. So in the Paris, I used it as key, and for the values, I have its country, population, and fact. And for the Jakarta, similarly, this is the key, and this will include the values. So for the values, we have country as Indonesia. Population we have is around 3 million. So this number can be different, but you can check on your own that if the numbers are good. So it's around, I think so, it's around 3 million. And the fact about the country is that Jakarta was formerly known as Batavus. Jakarta was formerly known as Batavus. So in the same way, I'm going to repeat this for the third city, that is Rome. All right, for the Rome, first of all, the country is Italy. Similarly, I'm going for the population. Population, that is 287 and tetra 0, and then the fact, here should be another comma here, and now we have Rome, country Italy, population this, and the fact about this is Rome is known for its ancient history. Rome is known for its ancient history, and here should be our semicolon. All right, so here is the last paragraph. Here's the first one, here's the second one. So first of all, we have Paris and its country, population, and fact. Then we have Jakarta, country, population, and fact. And then Rome, country, population, and fact. So this is the bigger dictionary, and within we have another dictionary that contains the values for these three keys. So we have three keys and their respective dictionaries. And now what I'm going to do, I'm simply going to print the part of the question that said print the name of each city and all of the information you have about it. So printing part is, we are going to do this obviously with the f string using with the for loop. We will use for, we'll get a variable for city, then info in cities dot items, and then we have print f, and inside city brackets city, and that's it. Now we need to print the country. So similarly, we'll use print f, then the string, and then we are going to type country semicolon info, call this as a list. So what it is doing, it is accessing the country and then further accessing its value. So it's calling the key, but we will print its value as well by using this info and country. And the next thing we are going to print is the population. That again, f string, inverted commas, population, colon, curly brackets, info, and then population. And the same way we are going to print the fact. Again, print f string, fact, curly brackets, info, fact, and at the end, print. And now if you see, let me repeat this again, we are using for loop to getting two variables, city and info. So what this is doing, this is extracting information from cities, that is this one, and simply printing the values. So when we use the info variable, then we further specify you need to extract country, you need to extract population, and then you need to extract the fact. Now if I run my program, Oops, another error. This shouldn't be here, this should be here. If we run it, another error. So this should be this, something like. So run it. Here we can see it's giving us all the information. The part of the loop says city, Paris, country, France, population this, and the fact about the country this. Then it moves to the second city, that is Jakarta, country, population, and fact. And similarly for the third one, city, Rome, population, Italy, city, Rome, country, Italy, population this, and the fact about the country, and the fact about the city. So this was another example of for making use of the for loop, but it was really helpful for your understanding. So in today's class, we studied the for loop. I introduced you what that it reduces our effort in repetitive tasks. I showed you some examples, then I solved some problems, and before that, I also showed you some methods. I also showed you break, pause, and continue in Python programming and for loop. So that's it from today's class. You can learn from me. Just message me on my socials and make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next class.